My 105.9.
Is that Willie Tyler?
Yes.
Hi, Willie. It's Michael Lardie from Great White.
Michael, great to hear from you. Thanks for calling in.
Well, thanks for having us, my brother.
Michael, a member of Great White for a lot of years. Great White, of course, doing the Friday night lineup, August 12th at Rockin' the Rivers over at the bridge near Three Forks. Excited for you to come to the state, Michael?
Oh, it's always great to come to Montana. You know, we've actually had, a day or two off there over the years and stopped a tour bus on the side of the road and caught a couple of trout.
I heard you were an outdoorsy guy.
Well, from time to time, I manage to do that. But, I think, as time goes on, we try to, balance it, make sure we have enough time for that indoor sport as well, if you know what I mean.
I hear you. Friday, August 12th is the big show, and it's an outdoor festival. I love these types of things. We load up actually a bus here in Billings and take like 40 people over to the bridge near Three Forks so we can experience the big 3-day kind of a deal out there. Do you like the outdoor festivals better than big indoor arena type shows or vice versa?
Well, I think it's seasonal for us. I mean, in the summertime, you cannot beat an outdoor venue just because of the vibe. The weather's great. It's just everybody's in a party mood. Everything about the outdoor thing just so fits like a glove with the summer thing. Obviously in the winter, you love the arenas because it's like one of the few places you could actually create some heat, when
Right.
It's really cold outside.
Well,
but no, the summer venues, the outdoor stuff is awesome.
Well, and with things like this where there's 3 days with lots of different bands, I think headlining with you that night is Uriah Heep and Creedence Revisited. Now, do you hang out with those guys too? Do you know a lot of the people in a lot of those other bands?
We get to become acquaintances with them over time, from doing these festivals scenarios like this. I mean, we just met Three Doors Down for the first time. We just did a festival up in northern Minnesota. So it's really cool to meet these guys and actually do shows with them that we wouldn't normally run, in the same circles. And, of course, the Creedence stuff is awesome. And Uriah Heep, come on. I mean, that's a band we all grew up on as well.
Sure,
so we'll look forward to hearing them play as well.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of cool. Now, most people, of course, know you from Great White, but a lot of you '80s guys, you must have been a lot of good friends in the back in the '80s when you guys toured, because I always see a lot of switching back and forth between bands. I know Janie Lane was singing for you guys not too long ago. And of course, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just getting into that. You're also a member of Night Ranger too.
Yeah, there was a period of time I actually was their keyboard player between 03 and 07 before Great White reformed with the original band. I've known Jack Blade since they took us on tour in 1987 to help us break the song "Rock Me."
Right.
So I always had a great connection with Jack and a great affinity toward the band. So when they asked me to come in, and the idea was I was just going to sub for a summer, and then before I knew it, I was doing it for year after year. A great experience, playing keyboards for that band. I mean, certainly some awesome songs, and it was tough, not being able to play guitar to some degree. But what am I going to add when you got Brett Gillis and Jeff Watson? I mean, come on.
Sure. And you actually had a pretty big career before you even joined Great White. Producing and engineering and recording and things like that, right?
Well, I was lucky enough. I moved to L.A. when I was a kid of 19, I guess, in 79, and got in at a studio, and that's where I actually met Great White and worked with a number of those seminal punk bands during the late 70s, early 80s. Black Flag,
wow.
Minutemen, Meat Puppets, Husker Du. I mean, just X. I mean, the whole lot of them. We did a lot of records. I was an staff engineer at the studio, and their record company was right around the corner. So, I mean, that's where they recorded. So they came in and worked with every one of these bands, and great experience. I mean, not necessarily my cup of tea as a musician, but
sure.
It was great. It was great to record that stuff because it was, trailblazing in its own way. It was such a part of that whole thing, and it increased my chops in the studio going super fast because those guys don't like to wait around, man. They want to put it down quick and make it raw and make it live, and it was a great experience.
I bet. And then you went on to, of course, produce some Night Ranger albums, some Great White albums, things like that too, right? Have you done most of Great White's albums?
Yeah, ever since Once Bitten.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you the piano player on Once Bitten?
Yes, I am.
That's cool. That's got to be one of my all-time favorite piano pieces in a song ever.
Thanks. It's just straight ahead barrel house. It's all about the rock thing.
It's great. And of course, the song by Ian Hunter, Mott the Hoople, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah, I always wanted to do a version of All the Young Dudes. And when we were almost posed to do one of those in 2007, we got back together. Then Tesla beat us to the punch and actually did a version of it. So maybe 4 or 5 years from now we can do it and not be, in the way of anybody else doing it. But, I mean, that great song. I mean, Ian had written some great tunes. I even did a record with Kevin DuBrow before he passed. He did his a solo record, and he had done Drive-In Sister, which was an old Mott the Hoople tune. So Ian Hunter has written some amazing rock songs that I think a lot of people have covered, and people have, he's been instrumental in a lot of ways to bridge that English blues with American rock thing,
Right.
So,
well, and I know
pretty cool stuff.
You've worked with a wide array of bands and artists. I even saw Jizzy Pearl on the list, and that made me laugh because I know him from back when he was with LA Guns for a little while.
Yeah, actually, I knew Jizzy when he was in Love Hate when
Right.
they were on Columbia. His girlfriend at the time was one of the people at Capitol that was part of the regime that was part of the routine. Like when you did the acetates of the CD mastering on the record, you had to listen to it and approve it. And his girlfriend was responsible for putting all the parts together, all the credits and stuff. So I got to know Jizzy way back then, like 89, 90. Wow. And then, we ran into him again when he was singing for Rat in 99. And in 2004, I had done one of his solo records. It was called something about Vegas Must Die or something like that. He has some great players on that record, and it was just a lot of fun. Definitely something different than what I was doing at the time. I was with Night Ranger at the time, so it's just cool. I mean, the whole concept of saying I can't decide what I want to be when I grow up. It just allows me to do everything.
That's great. You got to keep your hands in things. I actually interviewed Eric Kretz from Stone Temple Pilots not very long ago. And he's in LA, and he runs that big studio down there. Do you guys ever run into each other at all? Do you know who he is?
I haven't as of yet. I've seen them at a show or two. It's so weird with the whole recording thing the way it is now because so many people do records at home.
Right.
Our last record, we recorded everything at the drummer Audie Desbro's house.
Oh, really?
I built him a very small Pro Tools rig, which allowed us to at least do all the recording there. And then I took the hard drives home and mixed the record at my house.
Oh,
so,
right.
We didn't even have to step into a studio. So obviously, that record didn't cost us very much to do. But it's the way you can do records now. So
sure.
I haven't spent a bunch of time in studios in L.A. in a while. But, back over the years, I've done Conway, I've done Record Plant, I've done Wally Heider's, I've done Ocean Way. I've been very lucky to work in some really great rooms.
Cool. And so do you prefer being in the studio or do you prefer the touring?
It's 6 of one, half does the other. I love making records because it's that very focused, under the microscope kind of thing that you do. You create songs, at the moment, put them together with a band, decide how they're going to sound, and the whole experience is amazing for me. But then again, the live thing, it's like the instant recognition for what you're doing. As soon as the song is finished, people let you know right off the bat, hey, that was awesome, or that sucked. But at least like right off the bat, that what people felt about that. So
right.
That's the difference for me between the record. But I like, I'm very privileged to have the experience to do both.
Sure. And you've toured with just about everybody under the sun, from Dokken to Whitesnake, the Scorpions, Kiss. Who's been your favorite band to be out on tour with?
Well, we've been very, very lucky to have some great bands. I mean, you mentioned Whitesnake. We had a 10.5-month run with them on their big record, which helped propel the Once Been record with Save Your Love and Rock Me and All Over Now. Those songs propelled that to over 1 million, which was our first. We had an amazing time with Tesla in '89. We did a co-headlining tour where we flip-flopped every night. That was the year they had Love Song,
mm-hmm.
and we had Once Bitten, Twice Shy. So that was a great year to work with those guys. The Scorpions were amazing. We've been very, very lucky to work with with all of them. I think the connection. Of course, Night Ranger I mentioned before. They were amazing and very supportive at a very important time in our career. So, I guess bottom line is they're all my favorite because it's been a part of my life, an experience that I wouldn't trade anything, for.
Cool. Well, Michael, thank you for taking time and talking to us today.
But of course, and thank you, and everybody out there in Billings, come on to the show. It's so awesome. You're getting on that bus and going all the way in. Just be ready to rock.
Totally. Rocking the Rivers, the bridge near Three Forks, Great White playing August 12th. And we'll see you out there, Michael. Have a great show.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you, my brother.